Hello, Groveland Township. Today's video is being shot on July the 12th. And as we've done in the past, from time to time, we like to introduce you to some of our own local public officials so you get an opportunity to know who they are, a little bit about them, and some of the issues that we've discussed in the past and what their views are on them. So with me today, I have our own county commissioner, Bob Hoffman, who's been out here for quite a while. He's got a long service record in the community, and we've worked on a number of projects together. So Bob, why don't you give the people a little bit of insight into who you are, and then we can talk about some of the issues that are relevant to the township.
Thank you very much, Bob, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I was born in Pontiac and raised in Waterford. I grew up at the best place in the best time with the best parents. Every father on my street, including my own, my 7 uncles, were all World War II veterans. We were not only raised by our parents, but every other parent in the neighborhood. And I'd like to say that our parents gave us everything we needed, but anything we wanted, we had to go get a job. I wouldn't trade anything for that incredible childhood I had. Although as I've gotten older, I've often thought I'd give it all up if I could sit down for one more hour and talk to my mom and dad. Our parents taught us the promise of America, where if you have an idea, you're willing to work hard, maybe a little luck, you'll accomplish everything you set out to do. I love being an Oakland County Commissioner because, like being a member of a township board, this is a level of government where we can actually help people. One of my favorite quotes in life is from the Dalai Lama, who said, "Our sole purpose in life should be to help others, and if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them." I expend my time, my energy, and my money representing my constituents. I'll give you a case in point. There was a family a few years ago who was in a land dispute with a local municipality. Someone suggested to them, "Why don't you call your county commissioner, Bob Hoffman, because he's a real advocate for property rights." Their initial response was, "Why should we call him? He probably won't help us because he's a Republican." Well, they did call me and I went to see them. And one of the first things I said to them was, before I put my foot in my mouth, I'm going to have your entire 20-acre parcel surveyed and I'll pay for it. We got the survey back and realized, along with some of the initial problems we knew we already had, that the entire parcel is landlocked by a piece of property owned by Consumers Energy. But the real tragedy of this story is this mom, this dad, 2 preteen children had no place to live. So they set up a camper on 10 of the 20 acres that was not in dispute. They lived in that camper for over 5 years, through some of the coldest winters we ever had. And I said to them, "I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but I'm glad it happened to someone like you, because most people would just roll over, walk away, and no one would ever know what you were going through." Well, the case worked its way through the court. The family ultimately won, and they got their property back. The last piece of the puzzle was just put into place a few weeks ago, and I thank Consumers Energy for working with this family. Now the family has permanent ingress and egress to their property. Now, some people say Bob Hoffman doesn't need this job, and that's true. I'm not running for a paycheck. And I think it's quite refreshing to have somebody who wants to contribute to the community, and they're not doing it for a paycheck. And I think it's also nice that you have somebody that won't be beholden to anybody. Another one of my favorite quotes in life is from Winston Churchill, who said, "What is the use of living, if not to strive for noble causes, to make this muddled world a better place for those who will live in it after we are gone?" I want to thank all of you out there and Bob and the Township Board for their public service. God bless you and your family. God bless America.
You know, Bob, one of the things I think would be helpful is it's nice to talk about some of the issues we know affect us out here that we're interested in, and you've always been very supportive of them. So, for example, one of the first times I met you was a few years ago when we both got anointed with the Solid Waste Committee, and you're the chairperson of it, and I was the vice chair, and we've still been serving on that committee. Also, we've had discussions about the RTA Transit Authority bill, and as most of the people know, out here nobody really supports that because we didn't see any benefit for us at all. And you've been very vocal in trying to help us not get tagged with that RTA authority bill. But some of the other issues that come up from time to time, you've always been supportive of. I know you were helpful when we were looking at how to dispense some of the dollars from the COVID relief programs that the county had going for the businesses when they were really being struck hard because they couldn't open. And you were very instrumental in getting all of the communities out here to figure out how we were going to divvy up those dollars and try to help some of the communities that were involved, or businesses, excuse me, involved in the community and the difficulties they had. So I've learned that over the last several years, you've had a very good track record of being, I think, one, responsive to me. I have learned you answer texts better than you answer the phone, but I know that now. And we've been able to make sure we get a hold of each other when we need to, and it's for important items, and you've been very supportive of the issues that the township cares about. Are there any other things coming up in the county that you think might be worthwhile, like the sewer project you want to mention?
Well, I thank you for all those compliments, and one person does not do it. I really appreciate all your support and the other township supervisors in my district who have worked well. And I always like to tell people that I represent my district first and Oakland County second. And just the rapid transit tax, I don't think we need the state of Michigan or Oakland County government trying to micromanage our district. We know what we want. We don't need them to tell us what we need. And the transit thing, you know, I talked about it and I said, all right, if there's an opt-out, you know, then let's talk about it. But I don't want you to tax my communities, and we're not going to get any benefit from it, and you're going to take this money and spread it elsewhere. I just don't think that's good government. And as Bob mentioned too, that we just got approved for a $10 million grant to extend the sewers into Genesee County, which will benefit the northern end of Holly Township and Groveland Township. And this is a finite area that we're trying to service. There's some demand up there for it. There's some industrial and some commercial that'll benefit from this. And I think together, working with Bob and George Cullis from Holly Township and Alyssa Slotkin's office and the water resource, especially at Oakland County, they were very helpful in pushing this project forward.
This is, I think, a good example of, I will say this, you have, I think, a good track record for working across political lines because you are really looking at what is right for the community you're representing. So in the case of this, Alyssa Slotkin and all the rest of us here, we're working very well with her and her help in getting that money put through over here for that particular project. So it's a kind of refreshing with how strong political rivalries are to have people that will at least take a look at issues based on, is this good for the people I'm representing first, and decide on that. In the case of this sewer project, we're of course not using this for what some people might thought urban crawl or residential stuff. We're just looking at it for the commercial district on the Dixie Byway for the businesses in Holly and Groveland, and I'm pretty optimistic that now that the money came through from the county for the $10 million that they needed, that we have a fairly good shot at least getting the capacity built in Genesee County so that if we can validate the rest of the project, we'll end up running the sewers down in the other projects. So again, thank you for your help on that. It's been very important to the area, and I think it's going to eventually pay very good benefits for us in the form of improved water quality in the area and being able to develop the commercial district on Dixie Highway in a much more positive light with sewers. Anything else that you think is coming up that we need to talk about?
Well, I think another thing that really concerns me in Oakland County is about the overassessment of real estate. There's a history in this county, and it's not just Oakland County does assessing for a lot of different communities, but it's not just those communities assessed by Oakland County. There's a lot of them overassessed, and I've been fighting that for years. You know, everybody has an absolute responsibility to pay their taxes, but the government has an absolute responsibility to make sure you're properly assessed and you're not paying more than you should. And I think it helps too that I'm a small business owner, I'm a farmer, I know why people move to this rural district, and this is what we want to maintain, and we want to preserve that. And there's a reason we're out here. And one size does not fit all in Oakland County. What might work for the southern end of the county doesn't work out here. That's why we don't need the county or the state micromanaging our communities. Another issue a few years ago is the state of Michigan wants mandatory septic inspections. And I fought that, and so far we've been able to hold them off on that, because there's 100,000 septic tanks in Oakland County, and you're not going to inspect 100,000 every 10 years. You're going to have to start doing it. You're going to have to build a bigger bureaucracy. Some guy in his house is going to have to pay a fee for an inspector. You're going to have your tank pumped. And I can tell you right now that your septic tank will tell you when it's not working. And
Yes,
we don't need
it
the
will.
state's help with that one, or the county supporting that.
Yeah, most of us out here, as you said, it moved out here for the same reasons. We all like the large lot, low density. In fact, our master plan that we just finished is focused on that again, as it has always been, because it's been clear that our residents like things the way we are here, and we're not trying to change that. And one of the things most of us have that some smaller communities might not have is in the area of a septic system, we have plenty of room if your septic system doesn't function right to put your alternative field in. We're setting in large part for most of us on 2.5 acres or more. It's not like we're in a small subdivision where there may not be room for another field and that kind of thing. So we do have different needs and different desires, and I think it's been refreshing to have you reflect on those same things, because we're all looking for the same values out here.
Yeah, I love it out here. And again, Waterford, when I grew up there, was pretty rural. But then I moved to Highland and bought a farm. And so I know what hard work is. I always have, because I started my first business when I was 19. But so I know what it is to work hard and cut hay. We probably cut hay on 250 acres.
So now that you're 20, you've fully
Yeah.
acclimated to the work, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's it for tonight, Groveland. I think we just wanted to have an opportunity to introduce you to our current local county commissioner and give you some background on him and where he stands on a lot of the issues that are important to us. So until the next video, Groveland, have a great day. Be careful in the summer, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.